Good evening, Ram fans. Welcome to another edition of CTV Sports. I'm Mike Walsh.
I know it's been quite some time since you've seen my face, but I cannot be happier to be back. I'm Leah Cackowski, so here's what we got on tap for you tonight.
Colorado State Softball was unable to secure a win while hosting SDSU this weekend. Meanwhile, tennis wins on the road against Utah State.
Track and field wraps up a busy weekend in Las Vegas at the UNLV Rebel Invite, dominating on both the men's and women's side.
Then we have a live update on how women's golf is performing during day one at the Liz Murphy Collegiate in Athens, Georgia.
All that and more right here at CTV Sports, which starts right now.
We start with the biggest story on campus over in Moby Arena, seeing the departure of a legend in head coach Niko Medved, but also welcoming a new era of Ram basketball with the hire of longtime assistant Ali Frogmanesh.
Yeah, Mike, I know this hurt Ram fans at the time, but
Sure.
After we get the transfer portal action, the outlook may be starting to change a little bit.
Yeah,
And so first, let's start with the transfers on their way out of Fort Collins. So far, 4 Rams have transferred, being Kyan Evans, who was huge.
Yeah.
That one hurts.
That hurt the most because I think he was in line to be that next Ram great at point guard.
Absolutely.
Like the Zay, like the Neek at that guard position, but now you lose a guy like that.
Yeah, and Jalen Crocker Johnson, again, super young talent, really big on the boards, really good on offense,
Yep.
and so he is the only one.
He's following Medved, so this one makes sense.
Yes, only one with a true commitment.
He went in the
at
portal and he
Minnesota.
said, "Do not contact." He knew
Yes.
exactly where he was going. He was going to Minnesota.
Yep, and then of course we have the grad transfer Keyshawn Williams going out as well, and
Yeah.
freshman Jaden Stepso.
Tough losses.
Tough losses,
But
yeah.
I think some of those guys didn't play that much, so you can still rebuild from it. So while it's tough to lose those guys, the recent pickups for Ali and staff might just break even for the Ram fans' hopes, starting with the former 4-star recruit from Illinois, Kerry Booth. This guy's tall, I'll tell you that much.
That is what the Rams need, is some height again.
Yep.
Again, Kyan Evans not one of the taller kind of players, so having a forward like that can get rebounds
For
and
sure.
have a big presence, absolutely outstanding. And 6'4", 6'3", also really good.
Two guards. I know Josh from Marist, he averaged 15 points last year for Marist, so he's the only one with some real stats.
Right.
The other two kind of didn't play much. They were in the transfer portal. They're back in the transfer portal. They were not great at their schools, but Josh was really good at his schools. He's a big pickup.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you.
While all 3 of these guys, as I said, might not stand out on the stat sheet outside of Josh, their highlights can certainly get you excited. I mean, every one of these clips makes some of these guys look like All-Americans at times, obviously.
No, exactly. And if this is how they will play for the Rams, then I think this team will be just fine. But, Mike, I think we may brush over the fact that all of these guys were brought over by our new head coach. So clearly he's doing something right.
I couldn't agree more, Leah, but I just don't think people know him well enough because his past is pretty notable. Let's get a full breakdown on the new leader for Rams basketball. Take it away, AJ.
Thanks, Mike. I'd love to give you the full rundown on exactly who the Green and Gold's new shot caller is. Going into his 8th year coaching at Colorado State, Ali Frogmanesh will be serving as the men's basketball coach for the future. Ali graduated from Northern Iowa, where he played basketball, appearing in 69 games in 2 years and started all of them. And it would be disrespectful not to mention one of the most legendary shots in March Madness history when he was playing for Northern Iowa and matched up with the 1-seed Blue Blood Kansas in the round of 32. Ali helped lead Iowa to a 63-62 lead with 30 seconds left and proceeded to pass up on holding the ball and getting fouled, taking the dagger 3 and hitting it to put Northern Iowa up 4 and stun Kansas. And I know I just gave a ton of information, but Mike and Leah, what are your first impressions of Ali and his new crew?
I mean, we've seen him for a few years, so obviously I've got some really good feelings about him. I know he recruited everyone, so that's big for me.
Yeah, for me personally, I got a really good chance to manage for the men's basketball team 2 years ago, and he's the guy that develops these guards. We see Isaiah Stevens, David Roddy, Nick Clifford. That's all Ali.
Yeah.
He is the one that takes them in, shows them the ropes, and gets them better. Well, I'm not saying Niko Medved did not do that, but that was Ali's job.
He was there for the recruiting.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
I don't know. This feels really good. It feels like a good transition for Rams basketball. The culture is not going to die with him.
No, for sure. And you got to keep in mind, too, we're going to be a Pac-12 school pretty soon within the next season after this.
Yeah.
So I think the future is still bright.
Yeah. So it is encouraging, obviously, that Ali has been at the head of the recruiting for the Rams these past few years, almost 7 years now. So my guess is the culture should continue to grow here in FOCO. But I think that's a pretty solid bet for me, at least. But I think that's all the basketball news we have for in-house. Of course, we will talk all things March Madness in a bit. But for now, let's get a report on the tennis team. And in a season where the team has faced some struggles, this weekend gave some mixed results. Taking a tough loss on Friday, head coach Miley Tran said that one of her main points for Sunday's bout was executing in their close matches. And execute they did, as the Green and Gold took the win over the Utah State Aggies 4-1. And on the box score, the usual top performers did their thing, as the Rams' top doubles duo Victoria Rektichenko and Sarah Weekly led the charge with a 6-4 win, while just after them in the number 2 doubles spot was Logan Vokes and Victoria Zajinskaya, who simply dominated, winning 6-1. But looking past the doubles, it was more of the same for the Rams, as the singles were dominated by those same names, with Weekly and Rektichenko winning the number 1 and number 4 matches, while Diana Lizarazo had the comeback of the day with 2 6-3 wins after falling 2-6 in the first set. So for the women's tennis team this past weekend, it was a story of the comeback after that loss to Boise on Friday, but they did their part and they will now look forward to their final few conference matchups, starting with Air Force this Friday.
Colorado State softball celebrated state pride over the weekend with a duel against the Aztecs. And Game 1 on Saturday relied on strong pitching and clutch offense to get the gritty dub. The sophomore ace Reagan Wick owned the circle by keeping the Aztecs scoreless through the first 5 innings. The Rams finally broke loose with a 2-run bomb that came from the bat of freshman Autumn Rutherford. Those runs gave the Rams the dub, the final score 2-1. It was a quick turnaround for the second game on Sunday, and unfortunately the cards weren't in the Rams' favor this time. The Aztecs got an early jump, putting up 3 runs in the first against Giselle Bentley. And even with the pitching change to Wick, SDSU had her figured out from the day before, tallying up another 5 runs in the fourth that broke the game wide open. The Rams had a small ignite with senior Jordan West's solo home run in the third, but it wasn't enough. The final score 10-2 in a 5-inning run rule. But Ram fans, it's not time to be discouraged just yet, because the reality is this team is extremely young and full of talent. With only 3 seniors and 3 juniors, the rest are underclassmen. Keep in mind, 13 of them are freshmen. And they continue to make big impact. To give credit where credit's due, Reagan Wick has been crucial for the Rams, leading the Mountain West with 40 strikeouts in conference play and 84 on the season. Kaylin English has the second best batting average on the team at .352, which is right behind senior catcher Brooke Bolander. Where redshirt freshman Lauren Stuckey is in third, and Autumn Rutherford continues to use her power, already notching 3 home runs and 33 hits. The Green and Gold are in the thick of it with only a few weeks left of conference play as they strive to clinch a playoff spot. Their next match is against New Mexico and Albuquerque this upcoming weekend for a 3-game series.
In the greatest week of the year for golfers, Masters Week, women's golf has just begun the Liz Murphy Collegiate Tournament. And when I say just begun, I mean it, because the women teed off earlier this morning. And looking into the stats, it was not the best opening day for the women, as the team currently sits in 10th place out of 11 teams with an overall score of +40. But there is one bright spot from today's competition, as CSU's top performer Lacey Uchida currently sits at +6, good for 15th place in the field. As I said, though, the women just teed off today, so they will finish up this tournament tomorrow. Be sure to tune in next week to hear all about it. And as I mentioned, if you need some golf before then, the biggest golfing event in the sport may be on the TV this weekend.
And well, it was another busy weekend for CSU track and field as they competed in the Stanford Invitational and UNLV Rebel Invite. Day 1 on Friday consisted of lots of success in Las Vegas, starting with the women's hammer throw. Kaja Borman notched a 65.28 meter on her 3rd attempt, a new PR for Borman, and also moved her into 3rd place all-time in CSU history. Women's shot put also showed out, with Michaela Long claiming 2nd on the men's side. 5 Rams competed in the hammer throw, including Adam Hellbaum and Cameron Kaloff, who made final heat, with Hellbaum finishing in 2nd as a freshman and Kaloff in 5th. The Stanford Invite was also a success, which Michael Mooney's 5,000-meter run at 13:45.80 moved him up into top 5 in program history. Allison Pipper got a 10:41.57 in the women's steeplechase to place 14th in all-time for the CSU record books. Annie McAbobby got her own personal best in the women's 1500 to finish 10th. And moving into Saturday at UNLV, the Rams continue to show up and show out, sweeping the podium on the women's discus, with Kaja Borman as the top performer, followed by Claire Kovach and Michaela Long. Cole Norman racked up another PR in the men's 110 hurdles as a runner-up finish at 14:10. And finally, in Stanford, freshman J.C. Williams clocked yet another PR of 2:12.32 for the women's 800, which is just outside the program's top 15. Ruben Holness ran a 151.89, which barely missed his career mark. The Green and Gold are back at it next week at the Brian Clay Multis April 10th through 11th in California, as well as the Kit Mayer Classic April 12th, which takes place in Golden. And well, Ram fans, that is all the news that we have for right now, but stick around after the break. We have MLB, NHL, and NCAA.
Living with someone you don't know on the other side of the wall is hard, especially if you don't know how to be a good roommate. The first thing that you'll want to do to be a good roommate is make sure that you always stay quiet. Be considerate of others when using common spaces and appliances.
Hey buddy, what you doing?
I'm just gonna need like 40 minutes. Be respectful of your roommate's privacy. Ugh, my bad. Finally, make sure that you clean up after yourself. Oh, fresh toothbrush.
Have you seen my toothbrush?
Follow these tips to get along with your roommates and your landlord.
Alex Ovechkin has done it.
Yes.
The Washington Capitals captain has officially broken Wayne Gretzky's NHL goal record, scoring his 895th career goal on Sunday night against the New York Islanders. The goal came on a power play in the second period. Ovechkin took a perfect pass from Tom Wilson and fired a shot past Ilya Shorkin, with defenseman Jacob Chychrun providing the screen. And it was Ovechkin's first goal against Sorokin, and it could have not come at a more historic moment.
No.
After the puck hit the back of the net, Ovechkin dropped to the ice in celebration as fans, many of them in Caps jerseys, chanted his name. I mean, this is unbelievable.
So you're saying he knew?
So yeah, he knew that
he
moment.
was ready.
Yes.
Well, I was saying before this game, this is one of those records I thought was unbreakable a few years ago, and now it just seems like it could be broken by anyone.
No, absolutely. I mean, he's in first, again, Gretzky in second, and
Yeah.
third is Gordie Howe at 8:01, so no one's catching this anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, he's played for so long.
Yeah.
It's hard to deny his greatness.
No, absolutely. And you know what? As much as I would love to talk about hockey all night long, we got to switch over
It's
to the
more
MLB.
important. Yeah, more
AJ,
important.
take it away.
Thanks, Leah. Today marks the unofficial start of baseball in 2025, and I could not be more pumped to share my divisional predictions in the top 3 most competitive divisions in the MLB. Starting things off with the always strong AL East, including the Yankees, who just made the World Series last season. The Yankees have started out as expected, going 6-4 through 10 games, but the big story was the loss of ace Garrett Cole at the start of the season to Tommy John surgery. While the Yankees are struggling to stay healthy, their division rival Red Sox are coming off an offseason that included key additions like Alex Bregman and Garrett Crochet, which I believe will be enough for the Red Sox to win the 2-team race in the AL East. Moving on to one of the more underrated divisions in baseball, the NL East looks to have a 3-headed monster with the Mets, Braves, and Phillies all competing for the division title. The Mets were able to win the Juan Soto sweepstakes, but we all know the Mets are going to Met when it comes down to the end of the season. The Braves got off to the worst start in the MLB this season, starting just 1-8, and although they are expected to get healthier soon, I can't see the Phillies losing hold of this division. They're my pick to win it. Speaking of my pick to win it, the heavily favored LA Dodgers once again look like they're in prime position to take it home after adding Blake Snell and closer Tanner Scott after winning the World Series. We all know how good the Dodgers are, but this division alone has 3 of the most underrated teams in baseball right now, in the Padres, Diamondbacks, and Giants, who all are expected to win 80 games, which should result in a very entertaining division race. It's not just the MLB packed with news from the last week, Leah.
And I mean, Ram fans, Mike and I were so excited to dive right into the MVP race, but we were stunned by some afternoon news instead.
Yeah, Leah, it was announced today by the Denver Nuggets that they have released their general manager, Calvin Booth, and head coach, Mike Malone, just days before the playoffs.
And as much as we want to stay neutral and unbiased,
It hurts, for sure.
this one hurts. And as a born and raised Coloradan and die-hard Nuggets fan, this decision only raises some reasonable questions. Head coach Mike Malone has set the stage for a championship culture, bringing the Nuggets' first title back in 2023 as the only one in all 47 years for the franchise. He's also the winningest coach in franchise history, and his time got cut short in the Mile High City right before the regular season's close.
I cannot imagine that he was the problem in Denver. That's all I can say. I can't imagine that he is the problem and he's going to be the long-term solution by firing him.
No, I think too, him and Booth didn't get along quite well. There's a lot of articles out there saying that they disagreed on which players played.
Yeah.
Young guys versus old
I
guys.
feel like you got to choose one. I don't know. Going for both of them, it feels like you're cleaning house, and this is the wrong time to do that.
This is absolutely the wrong
Fine
time.
if you're doing that in the offseason, if they disappoint in the playoffs, you clean house in the offseason. For sure.
Yep.
That makes sense to me. In the middle of the season, 5 days before playoffs are starting, they're potentially in a play-in game. It just seems such weird timing
And
to me.
especially as a player, you think, well, okay, so what are we playing for now?
Right, exactly.
Who's our leader?
Exactly.
And it's just, we're going to have to see
And
how
now
it
the
plays
rumors
out.
start, and they're like, oh, Jokic is leaving because Malone's gone. They're going to
Yep.
blow it up completely.
Like, get rid of everyone. So.
It's not good for the culture.
No, absolutely not.
But despite this, an MVP will still be crowned in the NBA. So let's take a look at the current rankings for that award. I don't know if we like this that much right now, but Shea I think currently has the lead.
Shea is in number 1.
Yeah.
He has been pretty much all season. Jokic is right behind him at 2, and then we have Giannis for 3rd, which, again, fantastic basketball players.
For sure.
And so first, Mike, we have to talk about SGA.
We have to talk about SGA. SGA has made his case more than worthy for a contender this season, leading the league in scoring at 32.6 points per game and total points at 2,442, while also being second in steals. The Oklahoma City Thunder have been the 1 seed for who knows how many weeks now, and by a landslide. The next closest team being the Rockets, 12 and a half games behind them. And a lot of that success is due to Shea showing out pretty much every single night.
No, absolutely. I mean, we got to go right over to Nikola Jokic.
Yep.
Sitting behind SGA is the once-in-a-generation center for the Denver
Yep,
Nuggets. He
very
is
true.
averaging a triple-double at 30 points, 12.8 rebounds, and 10.2 assists per
Yeah.
game. And these numbers outdo his 2023 MVP
Yeah.
season. It's almost like he breaks a record every other night, like being one of 3 NBA players to record a 60-point triple-double that he recorded just about a week ago. So, Mike, comparing both of these unbelievable players, who's your pick? Who's your MVP?
I know my pick. I do have a different pick that I think is going to be selected, though. So I think it's Jokic. I think his stats are what you said. They're better than every other MVP year, so it's like, how would you not give it to him? The only reason I can see them going against him is because of the seeding. If they do fall all the way down to that 6, 7, or 8 seed, I can see them being like, okay, that's too low. He's not that important to the team. We're going to give it to Shea because his team is 1. Like, they're the 1 seed, the bona fide 1 seed. They win everywhere. They win every night. So I think they're going to choose Shea, but I definitely think it should be Jokic. What do you think?
You know what? I have to say that I unfortunately agree with you because the thing is, too, Nikola Jokic is having to put his entire team on his back. And keep in mind that 60-point triple-double, they lost that game.
They did.
Where Shea has guys behind him that can help him. And I think Jokic deserves this because of that reason.
Yeah.
And, you can argue the fact, too, like, everybody knows he's the best basketball player in the world. It's kind of like everyone knew Michael Jordan was the best player in their years. He didn't win
I think a better example, that's a fine example.
Yes.
But another example is LeBron.
LeBron, 100%.
He won those MVPs early in his career, and it's like, okay, he's going to keep putting up these same stats, and we're all used to it, but technically he's playing like the best player in the league. So that's where it's like the argument is hard, especially because Jokic has already won 3.
Right.
So that's where I can see the voters leaning towards Shea, but me and you, obviously.
We agree.
know it's Jokic.
And I mean, I don't even think it has to necessarily be like, oh, well, he's won 3, let's give it to someone else. It's like, it should be who is better.
I agree. But I just don't think that's how the voters see it.
Yep.
So I think, unfortunately, the people's choice is going to be Jokic.
Right.
And the actual MVP will probably be Shea, just like that Joel Embiid year.
100, yeah. 100,
So really, Jokic
could have gone.
He should have 5 in a row.
He should.
If we're being honest.
No, he should. It's exactly. He could have 3-peated that year. But you know what? As much as I would love to talk about Jokic and this subject all night long, that is all the time that we have for now. But when we come back, it is all things Final Four as the NCAA hoops came to a close last night. So stick around.
After 2 years?
You gotta be kidding me! Okay, no.
Robbie.
Seriously, do you have anything you can use against the dragon? I can do fireball, that'll do a lot of damage. Yeah, to all of us!
Well,
we're in a 4-foot group!
I'm sorry, what else do you want me to do?
Okay.
Hold on. All right. Wizard. You gonna roll?
Welcome back from the break, Ram fans. The ending to March Madness is always a bittersweet one. So let's talk the final 3 games of the tournament. Houston edged out Duke 70-67, securing their spot in the championship game. Oh my gosh.
An all-time throw job
Yes.
here from Duke. I mean, they were up, what was it, 7 in the last 30 seconds there or
6.
something? 6 points?
And then Sharp hit that 3. That was such a big shot.
Yeah.
I don't think people thought that Houston was going to go away with this one. I think everybody had Duke at least in their championship, if not winning the entire thing. So this was it was a heartbreaker, man, as Duke Duke fans.
The best thing about Duke was their scoring, and for those last 10 minutes, it just seemed like they didn't score at all.
Right.
And they kind of did at the end, and they're like, all right, we're still gonna lose that lead. So it's hard to believe for this team that scored so efficiently all year to just completely be dismantled on the defense from Houston.
What, they had 1 field goal in the last 10 minutes?
Yeah.
And my question for Duke is, like, when will they have this chance again? When will they have the #1 overall prospect? All those
It
pieces
seems like
around
they have it every 2 years. I'm not going
It
to lie.
does, but I mean, I don't know when they'll get back.
Yeah.
They had Cooper Flagg, the #1
Yeah.
prospect. When
And
are
you
they
can't
gonna
put that game
And
on him.
they had Con Knipple, who's a freshman, who arguably is like one of the top freshmen in the country. So this roster was, again, another Duke roster wasted. I feel like we see this every single March Madness.
every year? It's the same thing.
Yep.
I don't know. I think we got to move on to the next one, though.
Yeah.
This one's a little better. We're going to go to Florida to Auburn, where Florida defeated Auburn 79-73, overcoming a 12-point deficit in the second half. And we've talked about it for the last few months. Florida and Walter Clayton.
Mr.
Walter
Clutch.
Clayton
The big
Jr.
shots.
Yeah.
He just makes the shots when his team needs him to. It doesn't matter if they're losing, they're winning. If he needs a shot, the team needs a shot, Walter Clayton's going to make it.
Well, and the fact about Florida, too, what just amazes me is, you can be down 17, 20 points, and they find ways to come back.
Yep.
And I think all props to Walter Clayton Jr. It's been so fun watching him all this
Yes,
year. And
agreed.
I mean, Auburn, too, dominated all year long as well. Broome was a fantastic
This has been
player.
the kryptonite, was Florida.
Is
so
absolutely,
it makes sense.
yeah. So these two, I mean, that's what I love about all these games is just that they were really fun to watch and they were actually good games. You kind of see blowouts a lot of the time, even later standings like this.
Well,
but
I think that's when you get those lower seeds that
Yes.
somehow make the Cinderella run. They get blown out by the
Right.
real
Yeah.
teams. But this was 4 real
Having
1 seeds.
one seeds.
Like, these are great
People
teams.
were complaining that it was 4 1 seeds, but we got 3 incredible
We
games.
complained
Yes.
about it, but we knew the competition was going to be elite. So it's
Right.
like, you take what you can get with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the thing about Florida is their head coach is what,
39
years old?
39 years
Super
old.
Youngest
young.
head coach in a while.
Super
It
young.
means they have a
He
good
keeps
future.
building that program. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to win a few of those.
Yeah, it's bright. Florida claimed their 3rd NCAA title by defeating
did.
Houston 65-63, despite trailing by 12 points in the second half. Once again, the Gators mounted a comeback with Walter Clayton Jr. contributing 11 points after being scoreless in the first half.
I won't lie, I was worried. When Walter Clayton had no points in the first half, he just didn't look like he was playing. He didn't look like he was playing confident. I mean, he was confidently taking those shots, but he was confidently missing them. So the second half was so much better to see.
He got back into his game.
Yeah.
He was kind of driving the ball. He was taking those deep threes in the
Right.
first half. That wasn't
Right.
his game. He got back to driving. He got in his rhythm,
Yeah.
and that really helped
And
him.
once you make those first few shots, then that's when he starts hitting the crazy ones. That you're like, how is he making that shot?
Well, the one thing about Houston, too, they're the best, arguably, defensive team in
Yeah.
the entire country. They're going to make you chuck up shots
For sure,
like we just
for
saw
sure.
there. And also the thing about Florida, they had like 9 turnovers in the
Yeah.
first 5 minutes. I
it
don't
was
know,
bad.
however many minutes.
It was the first 10 minutes, I think.
Yeah,
it
they
was pretty
had
bad.
so many turnovers so early on, and it was,
Yeah.
it was a little nerve-wracking there for a second, but
I think we went from that Duke game where Houston was outcoached. They outcoached Duke in that second half. I think Florida outcoached Houston in the
Yeah.
second half, but also it came down to that final play. What was Houston doing? What was Sharp doing?
No,
Why are you not taking that shot? He had at least
No.
3 feet of space on Walter
I
Clayton.
thought the ball should have gone to somebody else.
Oh,
I know
for sure,
Sharp
for
has
sure.
made some big
Yep.
shots, but I thought LJ Cryer should have.
100%.
He did touch the ball, but I thought he should have gotten that shot. I thought Uzan should have. Roberts.
looking at it, I don't think it's almost like he didn't want it. Like you see, like it's almost like he had a brain glitch.
so there, I think he thought that if he picked it up, he's going to travel again. But I'm not so sure because he didn't dribble before. So it's like I don't know. I think he just got in his head and he's like, if I touch this, I'm going to turn it over, and then I for sure know I lost the game.
But also, that is such a sad way
It
to
is.
lose.
It is.
I think there are so many other ways, even like try to get fouled. I
Yeah.
mean, but there's still not. That's bang bang. At least try to make a shot and lose
They
that
only
way.
needed 2, and that's again what's frustrating when
Yeah.
teams go for 3. It's like, let's go to overtime. Let's score some more points. Let's have some more fun. Why do we need to go for 3 on that type of play?
I don't understand why Houston went for the 3. I
No.
thought they really did play better than
Yeah.
Florida for 38 minutes. And
100%.
if they would have gone to overtime, I think they would have had the game.
I think I saw Florida led for like what?
1 minute.
No time at all.
No,
Yeah.
it was like by the time they had led for 17 seconds
Yeah,
for
exactly.
the first time they got the lead again in that second half. So
I mean, a good game for us to all see. A nice
Yeah.
little comeback for Florida,
was
but
a great
just
game.
disappointing for Houston. We could have had overtime.
Yeah.
We could have for sure had an overtime game.
Kelvin Sampson, it's heartbreaking on the sideline.
Just
He was
standing.
Just staring.
What is he going to do?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what is he supposed to do? I mean, I guess drop a better play, but that was before the play. So
Yeah.
what are you supposed to do in that moment, right?
True.
that's how my face looked after our good old Rammies had our
that was a
our
heartbreaker. So
yeah,
now Houston knows how we feel.
yeah. And like I said, it was the first time since 2008 that there's been 4 1
Yeah,
seeds.
yeah.
It's almost like you make fun of the people
And
who
we
pick
got
all the 1
we
seeds,
got
but
great
it
games.
worked out.
It
Yeah.
really did.
Yeah, I can't be mad. We got great games.
Great games.
Florida wins. I'm happy with all
And
of it.
tons of NBA prospects coming
For sure,
out of this
for sure.
as well. So like the future is nothing but bright
Yeah,
for
agreed.
college hoops.
Agreed.
But you know, unfortunately, that is all the time that we have for you tonight, Ram fans. If interested and have not registered, the CSU Cobb Lake Road Race is next weekend, joining the cycling team with a discounted fee deadline that ends tomorrow. So stay safe, have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you next week.